When most knitters think cables, they think of the stitches, not necessarily of yarns. But yarn expert Clara Parks is here with me on Yarn Spotlight today to tell us how cables can apply to your yarn as well as to your knitting.
Hi, Eunny.
Hi.
So yeah, cables are a very interesting thing that you can do with yarn. I like to think of people who work at mills. They're mad scientists who are always trying to think of ways that they can make their product more usable for a wider range of people. And I would say maybe 15 or so years ago, we started to see a lot of yarns come on the market that had a new type of construction that was built upon layers of twisted fiber. So
of course, all yarn at some level is twisted fiber.
Exactly.
Right?
But this, they're taking, well, they're taking tiny strands of twisted fiber and adding them up and twisting them together to make a bigger strand of twisted fiber.
But I thought that's how all yarn is made.
In a way, most yarn, it would be this guy here, two little strands twisted together.
I see.
Boom, end of story. But for some uses, a lot of these yarns come from Italy, and the currency of these mills is the finest strand that they can spin because they're working for the high fashion textiles market. So they tend to come up with fine strands like this, which can be beautiful for lace, but not all knitters want to cast on 670 stitches for a scarf. So what they started to do was take strand upon strand upon strand and build them up to make something that's thicker and more suitable for a broader range of purposes. This one I call an S-on-S cable, and here's where we do a little bit of twist science. There are two ways that you can ply yarn together, and if you ply them this way, you can superimpose the letter Z over that middle,
the center
right,
sort of leg of the Z.
Exactly. Whereas if you twist them in the other direction, you can superimpose the middle of an S.
I see.
You sort of see the S there?
And this is all from your perspective, of course, but I think it should be the same for the viewer as well.
Well, I'm trying to look upside down. I think it works. Yeah, and so this is called, I call it an S-on-S, cabled yarn. The reason that a lot of the yarns that knitters work with are spun in the S direction has nothing to do with knitting at all. It's because we're getting the yarns spun by mills that work primarily for the woven textiles market. And in the woven textiles market, that particular direction of ply causes the warp and the weft to come together at a perfect 90-degree angle so that you get straight fabric. It doesn't wobble.
So the S twist is generally king in the commercial yarn market.
Exactly. And so that's what we end up using a lot.
Okay, so so S on S, what that really means is that each of these plies has an S twist to it.
Yes.
And then they're all combined with another S twist?
Yes, it's just twist on twist on twist, all going in the same direction. You end up with something that's very round and very springy because you have so much twist going on, all in the same direction.
Well, and it's fabulous, this swatch here, and I mean the stitch definition here in the cables, in the cabled yarn, I mean they just pop.
Yes, they really do. This kind of yarn, it's so round, it's like knitting with slightly textured spaghetti. It's very three-dimensional, and so if you love high relief sculptural cable qualities, it can even be for ribbing or seed or moss or anything like that.
Anything where you want that really architectural kind of feel to your knitting.
Yes, you really want it to stand out. The rounder the yarn, the more those kinds of stitches are going to stand out. So it's fabulous for things like cables where it really pops from the purl background.
Now, before we started, you mentioned something really interesting that I'd always wondered about the left leg of any given stitch.
Yes. A lot of people think that they've done something wrong when they look at their fabric and they see these strange little lines coming up.
Almost sort of a stripe or a shadow stripe kind
Exactly.
of thing.
If stitches were people, normal stitches, they're standing happy at attention. This kind of yarn, for whatever reason, it has to do with twist, the angle and direction of the twist and how it's sitting on your needle, that left leg is always standing up at attention. And it creates this kind of shadow of a vertical stripe in your knitting.
Very interesting, but it does highlight the stitches still.
Oh yeah, I think
it makes
it's
them look really lovely.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. It's almost a corduroy effect.
And it has that really refined kind of look that I always associate with cabled yarns.
Yes.
So this one is a 4-ply?
Yes, this one is 4 plies, 4 2-ply strands plied together. This one, the majority of it is merino. It's 70% merino with 20% baby alpaca to give it this dusting of a light, kind of a soft, warmer, more halo-y effect. And then it has a base of 10% silk, which kind of comes in from underneath and sort of slicks up the whole thing, gives it a very pretty gloss.
And then over here we've got, wow, a whole lot more plies.
Yeah, that guy has 7 2-ply strands that have all been twisted together. Where this type of construction can come in really handy is if you're working with fibers that are innately inelastic. You can add, you're building twist and twist and twist. So this is a blend of bamboo. These are both blends of bamboo and nylon. And by twisting them in this way, this has 7 2-ply strands. That guy over there has 6 2-ply strands. They create more elasticity in your fabric.
They both feel a lot bouncier than you would expect from those fibers.
Yep, greater squeezability.
Well, Clara, thank you so much for joining us this whole season. I learned a lot about yarn, and I'm sure that our viewers did too.
My pleasure.